Stay ahead of the curve and get updates on the latest strains in politics.
Okay, it's another beautiful Monday morning in a big and beautiful city of Ibadan. My name is Adi Damalala Fenwa. The program is from the Dailies on your number one radio dial, Solutions at 93.9 FM, your remedy dial. And this is the program where we get to take you through the front page stories of various newspapers. And as usual, I have Comrade Ayodeji Ajishokwe live in the studio with me this beautiful Monday morning. Good morning, Comrade Ayodeji Ajishokwe.
A good morning to you, my dear comrade brother, and of course to our listeners and viewers wherever you may be located. A good morning to you.
Okay, looking at the papers this morning, quite a number of interesting stories. I have about 4 newspapers, The Guardian, the Nigerian Tribune, the Vanguard newspaper, and of course the Punch newspaper. Taking my first shot at the Guardian newspaper this beautiful Monday morning. Now, former governor of Jigawa State, Sule Lamido, he granted an interview on a TV station, and he spoke about some things that are beginning to generate a lot of controversies, and he particularly talked about the actual role played by the current president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the role he played in the June 12, 1993 election. And as put by the Guardian newspaper, Lamido differs with Inyam over Tinubu's role in June 12 annulment. Okay, Sule Lamido raised a lot of questions, concerns there from his statement. But we'll get to listen to the voice of Sule Lamido in the course of the program. Moving away from that, APC silent as PDP dismisses formation of ADA. That is all Democratic Alliance. ADA. Okay, that's a big force. Okay, moving away from that, ECOWAS bio to champion democracy. Security Regional Reform, page 4 of the Guardian newspaper. Israel-Iran war, hope for Nigeria's troubled fiscal outlook as oil prices head to $80 per barrel. Page 6 has that story. Sanwo-Olu to meet APC stakeholders ahead of LG polls. Now, still looking at the front page of the Guardian newspaper, cloud burst, Ogun government urges calm as lightning kills 32 cows. I saw the video where the lightning killed a number of cows.
I saw the story. It was a stunning one. I said, well, this is Africa.
This is Africa. Exactly the first thing that came to my mind. Some people were beginning to raise speculation that maybe our people have started consulting the oracle to protect their land.
That is who we are.
Who we are, okay. Okay, moving away from that now, I have this one saying, Obi Atiku decry rising insecurity as Tinubu northern governors condemn killings. We'll talk about that in the course of the program too. Insecurity escalates in Yenogwa. George abducted. Man confesses to killing toddler. I don't know how we got this to this point. You look at your fellow human in the face and you set them ablaze. You kill them. You kill toddlers. You kill infants, innocent people.
It is only people that are subhuman.
How did we get here?
Well,
what value are we placing on human lives?
I think our values has not been very well passed down, and there will be consequences. But in society, there have always been depraved people here and there. Maybe the internet is helping us here when it happens. Whether it happens 10,000 miles, whether it happens in New York or Joburg, we'll get in a matter of minutes. We get to know here.
Okay. Moving away to the Punch newspaper now. Pastoral crisis. Okay. 11 states embrace the FDE ranching plan as killings surge. Still
We
talking
have
about killings
managed
too.
the crisis. Is 18 to something. I think it is time we resolve it. And I think it is, this is a, look, they are taking, that somebody, yes, we were talking about it yesterday, and a security analyst was telling me, he said, okay, so you are it is the north that has cows. Let them keep the cows, but give them land for ranches. So it is not that, or it is not that they will take the land. The land still belongs to government. It is going to be a business. It is high time we find a solution rather than management. Management has failed.
Because you said we've been managing this crisis. We need to put a lasting solution to that.
Resolution. Management is not working. Not anymore. It used to work. Because we lived with these Fulanis all along. I remember as we'll go to the Ga on Sunday afternoon. We eat pounded yam.
But you know, some of these Fulani people, they say this ranching is not their thing. That they have this nomadic lifestyle of going around different places.
Agreed, but they have leaders. If you look, some states are big. The whole of Niger is bigger than the Niger state alone is bigger than the whole of Southeast. Come on, you take a tenth of that for ranching. You go to Kano, you do the same thing. You go to Zamfara, you do the same thing. It's big.
Okay, we'll talk about this and more in the course of the program. Moving away to the next paper now, which is the Nigerian Tribune. Time check 9:39 on 9:39 Solutions FM. Okay, Senate begins nationwide public hearings on Constitution review. Page 22 of the Nigerian Tribune has that story. And the second story on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune says that 2027 controversy trails application to register ADA. And riders under that.
It should be registered. Why won't they register it?
Riders, no decision yet on party adoption. Article. ADC National Chairman disowns ADA. Says ADC.
Disowns ADA.
Disowns ADA. Says coalition's platform may be unveiled this week.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, let's wait and see.
Page 22 has that story. And now to the final newspaper I have before me, which is the Vanguard newspaper. I have this one saying, Iran votes to close Strait of Hormuz after U.S. strikes on nuclear facilities. Page 5 has that story. And the second story on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper.
Well, it is the Iranian parliament that voted. The power does not reside with them. It resides with the Ayatollah.
Okay.
Through the general.
Okay, Ayatollah Khomeini.
Yeah.
Okay, moving away. Insecurity. Tinubu orders action on insurgents, plateau killings. I mean, I was just asking you a few minutes before we came on air now that President Tinubu giving an order again. I mean, is that not one order too many coming from a commander-in-chief? And despite all the past orders to the service chiefs, we're still having wanton killings, incessant attacks and killings of innocent Nigerians. How many times will the commander-in-chief have to make an order before things are done the right way?
So if the field commanders are not meeting up with his own pace, so why wouldn't he quicken their pace? You know, you are in charge, you're the commander-in-chief, you are the parade commander, let's assume. You command the parade at the pace you want. So I think probably he's probably taking charge directly now. Hopefully so.
We'll talk more on that in the course of the program. Okay, you can join the conversation by calling the studio lines 0912-222-2939, 0912-222-2939, or 0904-422-2939, 0904-422-2939. You can as well drop your comments on our Facebook page, Solutions at 939 FM. Now, going straight to the business of the day, talking about what Sule Lamido said as regards the role played by Bola Ahmed Tinubu. During the Democracy Day speech, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu spoke he had a lengthy statement talking about how he struggled to make sure that June 12 mandate was retrieved and how to install democratic ruling in the country. But this man, who happened to be at least to the best of my knowledge, I think he was the secretary, the national secretary of the Social Democratic Party, SDP, in 1993 during the OPE 93 election that produced MQ Abiola as the presidential candidate. He was on a live television program, and he spoke that he said Bola Tinubu is only his statement that his recent statements are not truthful. That he was the way he put it, he said Bola Tinubu and some other people connived with IBB to truncate the June 12 mandate. That all Tinubu is saying now is just rhetorics and just trying to cover the evil deed he did under the covers. Let's listen to Sule Lamido, former governor of Jigawa State and former national secretary of the Social Democratic Party, SDP, in 1993. This is Sule Lamido speaking now.
You see, I feel highly entertained by Tinubu's rhetorics. The way he's dramatizing his own role, in Nigerian democracy. Luckily, we're all alive. Please go. Luckily, we're all alive. We're all there. We're all, participant in that particular, sphere of political activity. So I was in the middle of it. Tinubu became relevant and noticeable after Abacha took over government. Before then, he was in the Senate. Was the secretary of the party. And with all respect to him, you see, he was part of those people who were supporting Babangida's annulment of June 12. He was part of it. His own mother, Haja Mogaji from Lagos, was organizing Lagos marching women to come to Abuja to pledge, support for Babangida. I'm saying this because it's simply history. I mean no harm. Don't mean to embarrass him. But then you see, he was actively handing gloves to Babangida. Now, when Babangida saw the fact that, he was having a problem with the party, he went to the National Assembly to address them. One infamous speech was, they are trying to incite you. It is you they are against. Tinubu was there, and the IU became very, very firm and straight on the issue of June 12. He called a meeting, then being the only senior elected person in government at that time, as Senate President, he convened a meeting in Edo, in Benin, we went there with the governor, where we went there and reaffirmed our commitment to June 12. All right? Babangida was so angry with IU. When he came by, he removed him and put in a better arrow. He put him there so that, so that they can be aligned to Babangida, political kind of machinations. So when Tinubu today, after being a Nigerian president, decided to rewrite history, trying to maybe deconstruct history and then rewrite it, then it is very, very amusing because he was part of the Babangida support of June 12. He was part of it. Now, it was only when Abacha took over government that Tinubu then became our so-called activist of June 12. Not only him, all those who are talking about June 12 in Edeko, I mean no harm, I mean no disrespect. I'm simply saying what happened during that time. All of them, those people in Edeko, where were they on June 11? They had no part in June 12. They are not part of June 12 campaign. They're not part of the June activities. What they are never, because most of them are saying they should down look. All of them, because they know ability they want to work out. So when Abiola won the election, and then after the annulment, they are all very, very passive. But suddenly, after Abacha came on board, removing Sonekam, they became activists. They formed NEDECO. NEDECO was opposed to election formation. NEDECO was something which was formed, to fight Abacha, not to fight democracy, not to fight for June 12. So whatever Tinubu is doing today is simply reconstructing history the way he thinks is going to fit his own political interests.
That was the former governor of Jigawa State, Alhaji Sule Lamido, and who happened to be the National Secretary of the Social Democratic Party, SDP, back in 1993. Now, comrade, you listen to Sule Lamido speaking about the roles played by Bola Ahmed Tinubu as regards June 12 mandate.
Yes, you want us to carefully listen to Alhaji Sule Lamido. Alhaji Sule Lamido is a respected gentleman, elder statesman, rather, and he comes from the Aminu Kano School of Politics. His ally, that were together is Abubakar Rimi, and these are refined, educated. Abubakar Rimi was working in Nigeria National Institute of International Affairs. He was also a career person. So these are not politicians by profession. You understand?
As we have today.
As we have today. Now, look at the narrative. He said, and I will link it to the national awards. And we talked about it just before we came here. Iyochi Ayu was not given a national award.
Yeah, Iyochi Ayu was the Senate president, the highest political office
Holder in the land
as of 1993.
Now, when Iyochi Ayu was impeached, Ibuti Ame was brought in.
Now, we need to let the people
Ibuti Ame
know.
was given
People who
a
don't know
national
the
award.
history of June 12.
Ibuti Ame was the deputy Senate president.
Why was Iyochi Ayu impeached? He was impeached because of his struggle to retrieve the mandate for Abiola.
Yes. Ibuti Ame, when Iyochi Ayu was impeached, apparently under the instructions of the military, Babangida, Ibuti Ame, and then, things died down. Ibuti Ame was not given national award. I was a little bit,
I said it here on the program last week that there are some names that were supposed to be on that national list award.
Yes.
If truly they were meant to honor.
See, it doesn't matter if they are not there. The people know them. We know them.
I mean, I had to go and look at the list again, and conspicuously, Senator Iyochi Ayu's name was missing.
Their stature is not by medals and adornments.
This was a man that, even after he was impeached, I remember he formed G18. The G18 later became G34, and the struggle continued.
So, it doesn't matter whether they recognize them. It has been recorded that they omitted the names of some critical people. All of that has been recorded now. And so, now, I don't want to talk about the part where people were going to Abuja to demonstrate in support, and it was ascribed to Elijah Abibatu Mogaji. Yeah. Then, he traced the one point he was trying to make, that they were not a part of the making of June 12. He said, where were they on June 11? Where were they?
Yeah.
So he's asking that these people were not involved in
the struggle,
in this original
before the election. The things that brought about June 12 itself, that they were not part of it. They just came in immediately to, sort of take advantage of it, all in the name of whatever it is called, So once you just watch the narration, there are two sides to it: pre-June 12, post-June 12, and the things that happened at the National Assembly and the actors. You see, I've always been a little bit curious to that. But Iyochi Ayu, by his character, you will know that he's not he's an academic, but not apparently a talking person. But when he talks, he says it all. So, did you hear from him when the list came out? Some people are shouting that Oshowore was in there. You should not even give him he will do this, he will do that. I mean, Agbakoba, see the civil response of Agbakoba. Did you hear from Iyochi Ayu? We will And even our own Rashidi Ladoja, Adewo Ladoja too, was
you know,
conspicuously missing on that
he too will
on
not
that
talk.
list.
You know he will not react. Respond later, but reaction. Let's.
Okay, now Sule Lamido also spoke about the role played by Nadeko, and that wasn't the first time I will read somewhere that at a point Nadeko compromised
Well,
on the mandate, and he said it here. Lamido also said it here that Nadeko was formed to oust military presidents. I mean, the military rule.
well,
not
the military rule,
not
military,
to
yes.
enforce the June 12 mandate.
Well, okay. What is the gap there? To oust military government that was sitting on the mandate of the people and restore civil democratic rule. So, is that not in tandem with June 12? June 12 was what established democratic rule. And
Okay.
the military was trying to abort it. The military is symbolic of abortion, even if they have, civilians and political actors around them. So that's what they wanted to get rid of. And to do what? To restore civil democratic rule. So was that against June 12? I don't think so.
Now,
Many people sacrificed.
another concern I'm having now is the fact that a few months ago, IBB, Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, he launched a book. He wrote a book and he launched it where he wrote his own side of the history, which a lot of Nigerians have come out to say, no, those history has been distorted. Now we have Abola Ahmed Tinubu telling us the roles he played in the June 12 struggle. Sunday Lamido has come up again. We have three different history. Now for the generation unborn, these are the things they are going to hold on to. Why are we having different people coming, different versions of history of one June 12?
Yes, you do have different versions. Because
one man said that it wasn't him that annulled it. The commander-in-chief
yes,
said he wasn't the one that annulled it, that it was his chief of army staff.
Yes, because that is his own perspective. He is an actor. Wait a minute. There are actors. If there are 10 actors, you are going to have 10 perspectives. He's writing from his own perspective. When
But none of this history is converging.
No. You and I will read all versions, and you of course you can.
You and I
You
will
can construct.
See, you and I will read such different versions, but we can deduce which one is true. Now, what about the generations unborn?
They will have to do the same thing, because your mind is trained to track and see this one does not connect, this one connects, okay, and then you construct. That is what every generation will have to do to understand history. You don't just take, if there are 10 versions of one story, so you must come to a decision. You cannot say, I'm really you serious, let's move on. It is history, and you have to, it's a trajectory. So you have to resolve that confusion or whatever. So that is just it. Even the holy books say you shall know the truth and it will set you free. So it's just everybody is writing from their own perspective. We have seen people who have written. Okay, just look at the story of the Civil War. How many books have been written? I must have read at least 20.
I've read about 10 or 12.
And I'm sure
about Biafra, about the Civil War.
And I know I've not read all.
But so far, the ones I've read all converge in one way or the other. I remember the Broken Bridge. I can't remember the names of some of them I've read before.
What
too.
about Alabi Sama?
Okay.
Tearing down the book written by someone who was his superior and commander. But that, yes, and he was claiming that we saw it all. That everything that happened, you are the commander, but it is we that put everything together. You understand? So, they're writing from their own perspective. And the other man was writing from his own perspective when he said, my command. And I did this, I did that. You write from your own perspective. That is the way history is constructed.
Okay. Now, before we leave this particular June 12 issue now, in your own words, in your own opinions, do you feel that the Nigerian government in the last, since 1999 now, has been fair enough as in acknowledging the role and rewarding the Abiola family
You
till
see,
date, considering the struggle and the losses, not to Abiola himself, but to the entire family. I mean, a lot of things were lost as in to that struggle up till date that Abiola family is yet to even recover fully from that. So has the Nigerian government been fair enough in acknowledging and rewarding them?
well, in terms of recovering, apparently the mantle fell on Kola, his first son, and I think Kola has been very well trained. You're not going to have an Awolowo give birth to another Awolowo. Neither are you going to have an Abiola give birth to an exact, but he will fit, the period. The period that came after Abiola's day require, shrewd management of things and not being political and loud. So, but you see, Kala was saying on June 12th that his father is owed, that's ITT, is owed a little over $200 million, maybe $250 million, and all of that. That the government, Summit Oil and everything. The press, everything else. I mean, Concord Airline, the farms they have. They have a farm in Kwara, it is called Soga. That was when the crisis started. All of that ruins. But, there will be sacrifice. And he not only sacrificed his personal, self. Of course, when you are running against government, you are sacrificing all. You are risking all. Like the Senator Kabiyesi Rashidi Ladoja, he risked all too, But there are times you come to such decisions and periods. So, and since he was the leader, and he was the arrowhead, he will be the one who much pain will be inflicted. The mortal one, the physical one, and then they will be ruining their business. But that is the way life is. Because in history, there's no way they're going to be talking about Nigeria in another 200, 300 years. They're not going to be referencing him copiously. So what could be better than that?
Okay, all right. Time check 9:59 on Solutions at 939 FM. The program is still from the dailies. We're looking at the front page stories of our newspapers. And because we are still talking something that has to do with politics, let's look at this. Now the name has come out, ADA, All Democratic Alliance, ADA. Now, do you see this new coalition party formidable enough to, like David always said, I remember at the beginning of that interview with Sule Lamido, he was being asked that is he part of the coalition, and he said he will be a part to anything, any formation to remove Bola Ahmed Tinubu and to save Nigerians or to rescue Nigerians from this suffering under this present government. Now, do you see ADA doing that magic?
If Sule Lamido said that, and of course take a look at the quality, the value, political, electoral giants, the Turaki, Adamawa, Atiku Abubakar, former vice president, the inheritor of the Yaradua PDM movement, and former governor of Kaduna State, Governor El Rufai, and
Rotimi there too. Rotimi Amechi from the South. I think
all
all the geopolitical zones are ably represented in that coalition.
So when you have that, you're not going to dismiss. You're not going to dismiss such a gathering of people. You do so at your own period. So, and we have 2 years. If Sule Lamido says that, it's from that northwest zone. They have their reach. They have their structures in place, and they can reach. But it's just a matter of converting their followers to the party. That's what we call the party structure, but it's going to be very costly putting structures together.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, putting the party together, a nationwide party.
Okay, in 2 years.
Yes, it's going to be costly over time because you have to settle. It has to be a permanent feature of the political landscape in every local government and every ward.
And do you feel they'll be able to achieve that in 2 years?
If they are serious,
It's not even
about
up to
it.
2 years again because
Yeah,
the presidential election. By this time next year, 2026, there must be as in awareness.
Oh, serious.
Will be serious awareness be on.
Yes.
So do
They
you
are-
see other?
These are experienced hands. I mean, you should just go and set things up at the local government and then in each ward. And that is where the party, operates at the grassroots level. They know how to put them things.
And do you feel other is something to make APC lose sleep? With the big names attached to it, as you said.
Well, PDP didn't pay attention in 2013. It snowballed into NPDP and
NPDP.
that alliance that came and unseated the PDP, President Jonathan to be specific. So you have to be careful.
Okay. Now moving to other aspect, and this is about insecurity now. Insecurity, according to the account of the Vanguard newspaper, insecurity, Tinubu orders action on insurgent plateau killings. And I read it somewhere that a group of other Nigerians, about 12 of them, were killed and their bus set ablaze on their way to a wedding party. I mean, it's really, I'm trying to look at the story. And just this last Friday, too, there was a bomb blast in Borno.
Yeah, was it Bruno Kano?
In Kano, yeah. There was a bomb blast, and about 11 people also died in that. And now, according to the Vanguard now, the president orders, this is one order too many, like I said earlier on. Just last week, Wednesday, the president was at Benue, and he ordered that this wanton killing has to stop. Enough is enough. He charged the service chiefs, the IGP, the CDS, and the rest that he wants to resolve. But now, less than a week, he's coming up with another order again. Is that not showing the kind of because I'm seeing it in two ways now, and I feel Nigerians are seeing it in two ways now. Is it? Do we say that it is a lack of interest in the minds of this service chiefs to tackle the situation? Because I'm trying to liken it with Donald Trump. This Iran-Israel war, we know the role Donald Trump played. The moment he gave an order, everybody went into action.
Yes.
How many times will the commander-in-chief have to give orders to put an end to these wanton killings?
Well, if the president gave an order when he was in Benue, and another situation arises separate from that of Benue, and the president thinks he needs to give an order as president commander-in-chief, probably thinks it is important enough for him to personally intervene. So, President Commander-in-Chief give orders, not twice for one location, it's a different location. And if he thinks he has to, be directly in charge, to be seen to be actually the Commander-in-Chief from the front, commanding from the front, not from the rear. You understand? Actively taking charge. Because when we start saying, one order too many, the president wants to be seen playing the role of commander-in-chief.
When I say one order too many, the previous orders, have things been done? Have we started seeing positive changes? What with the order given in Benue State last week, one would have expected changes. But it seems it has gone back to factory setting.
You see,
I wouldn't be surprised if, God forbid, before the end of this year, there is another attack in another community in that same Benue State. This is not the first time the president is giving such orders and wanton killings. The NSA was there. He gave orders. The COS was there. Was in the Chief of Army Staff. The CDS has been in places, even Plateau. giving orders that this has to stop, and nothing happens.
You see,
That's why I say one order too many.
no, probably not. Most probably not, because they have to be seen to be doing their job. And number two, when we think an order is given, things will be set in motion, and we expect that things just change in 24 hours. The issue in Benue has been there since 1800 or thereabout. The whole matter is just snowballing and escalating.
If it's been there for that long, is it supposed to continue forever?
It is even pre-colonial era, pre-independent. But the fact is that we have been managing these relationships. They seem we can no longer manage them. Therefore, we have to resolve them. And I can take a bet that it's not as if the actors, everybody involved in one way or the other, does not know what the challenge is. They know. We have managed it for so long. It's not working. So why don't we resolve it? Identify the challenge. What is the challenge? What's the challenge? It's about the herders and the farmers. So if the herders are disturbing the farmers or the farmers are disturbing the herders, maybe they are grazing routes and whatever. So find a resolution. What is the resolution? Some states are saying we're not going to give land to them. What is the pragmatic thing? We must find resolution. We must find a resolution. You see, this approach of the military.
If a state says they are not going to give land to the herders, are they right or wrong?
Well, this land belongs to the state.
So, is it a must for every state in the federation to create a land for ranching?
No,
for the herders?
certainly not. It's not a must for every state in the federation. But we must consider the losses that have been sustained in economic terms and the destruction of property. And, of course, the destruction of the taking of lives. And look at the displacement. In Benue, displacement. People are living in IDP camp, and we are not at war.
Because the elders are claiming entitlement to what doesn't belong to them.
You see, we should stop seeing things from this we against them.
It's not about we against them. Nobody, according to the villagers, they are not saying they don't want to cohabit with them. But it's a matter of you coming because you want to feed your cows.
So if that has resulted in conflict, let us find resolution. We have managed it over this long period of time.
So what is the resolution? So what is the resolution? What should be done?
No, they should sit down and talk about resolution. They have managed it. It's not working. And these people are applying violence. And the states seem not to be able, Look, if it is violence they're applying and the states too is applying violence, do you think there will be a resolution? If the military overpowers them, or maybe rounds them up and prosecutes them, will there not be another set? They're not going to go away. That problem, why has the problem not gone away since? So that is just, we have to find the resolution rather than managing it. It has escalated.
Hello.
Eleka.
Okay, I think it's the call is not for us. Okay, continue.
So
please.
we should find pragmatic ways of managing the challenges that confront us.
Okay.
You can't paper over it. Let the state. Well, there's even a story that 11 states have agreed. Yes, there's a story I saw somewhere this morning. 11 states have agreed for maybe ranching. So that's pragmatic. What I consider to be pragmatic resolutions to the challenges that confront us.
Now, let's look at other aspects of insecurity. Now, in Bayelsa State, a judge was abducted. I saw the video. I saw the video while the bandits hijacked. I just decided to use it. I hijacked his vehicle, brought out the judge, and whisked him away.
Yeah, of course, that is Niger Delta and all this gangsterism. It started long before anywhere else in Nigeria on a large scale. You know that. You and I know that. That gangsterism This kind of gangsterism has been with them for quite a while in the South, you know.
Now, looking at the issue, the wedding guests that were set ablaze in Plateau State. Let me read the story now. No fewer than 12 travelers from the Basawa community in Zaria, Kaduna State, were killed during an attack in Mangu, Plateau State on Friday. 11 others sustained injuries and are currently receiving hospital treatment. I want to move to one of the survivors of what he had to say. Okay, now, there were 31 travelers in the bus. Now we have 8 corpses in the hospitals. We have asked the security personnel to help recover the remaining 4 dead bodies. We were together. Okay, I'm trying to see. This is not even where I actually want to. He spoke about how they were intercepted by a group of people and they killed the driver and set the remaining of them ablaze in the bus.
Of course, that's a targeted attack. It's not a random thing. And that's why we're saying that everything this national policing, look, even the Nigeria police and the army, they are founding. Go and check it out in history. How do you call a police service a Nigeria police force? How do you operate with force when you are policing? And then the issue of you bring somebody from Jigawa to come and police Ibadan. What is he going to police here? We have to change our approach.
And what about the way we Nigerians even see ourselves? I mean, I want to read it now. We were heading to Kwan Pan to attend a wedding ceremony of our brother when we missed the road because we didn't know it. We stopped and asked some people for directions, but before we knew it, they surrounded the vehicle, shouting that we should be killed. Reading further, it said, they started beating and attacking us with dangerous weapons. The mob killed the driver first and then attacked others. They burned the bus with the corpses inside. We are now in the hospital receiving care. I mean, what value are we placing on human lives in this country?
Well,
because it looks like a repeat of what happened in Edo.
yes, probably a reprisal attack. You know, they know themselves. They can identify who is who by appearance. So they say, hey, you people, you ran into, you know, maybe it is just a security check or whatever. Or
Because
they are
according
targeted.
to it, I don't think they were attacked by bandits. He said they mob a group of people,
Yes, now. I mean, you know when
maybe
there's-
locals in that place.
when there is insecurity, they have vigilantes and all of that, you know. So maybe they just identify. They say, these are the other side, and seething from the previous encounters. Hey, this is an opportunity.
So the question again, what value are we putting on human lives?
That is the level to which we have descended. Bestiality. I mean, don't you think we will have to address that issue frontally? But you ask her, what are the leaders doing? If the leaders are probably not doing, look at what those youths did in Benue. They what they did virtually forced the attention of Abuja, you know, to pay attention, at least. So the issue of insecurity in this country is not okay. The man that I had an interview with yesterday said, okay, something happens in Benue. The IGP dispatches. They say they have special forces. The IGP dispatches them to Benue to go and manage the situation, and they successfully do so. So when they successfully, this was a conversation that I involved yesterday, and they successfully do so, they will return to base. As soon as they return to base, those who are causing problems will say they are going to, they will start trouble again. Before you travel from Abuja, even whatever, they will have caused mayhem and havoc. So I now asked him, I said, so what are the governors doing? The government probably collects now. If they were collecting 500 million many years ago with the revenue now, maybe some of them are collecting 3 billion. So why are the governors not doing the needful with all the resources at their disposal? And they don't command, they are the chief security officer. They are not the one in charge of the police or whatever. But they can do one thing: intelligence. When you are ahead, you know, several steps ahead in intelligence and counterintelligence. at least. And then Benue, Plateau is blessed with military retired or active military personnel. They can, they can definitely drink from the wealth of experience.
And that's on the part of the security forces. What if I'm more particular about we the civilians now?
I'm talking about the government. I'm talking about the government of Plateau organizing its own people.
Okay.
Those are assets. The generals, retired generals they have. I mean, not all of them will be against the governor. So we think in the interest.
Now, don't you feel that if we as individuals begin to place values on human lives, the spate of insecurity will reduce? Or the spate of killings, let me put it that way, will reduce?
You see,
It seems
it's not a
humanity has lost it completely.
well, sometimes when you have your back to the wall, you don't have attachment to our land. And we call this ancestral land. And then on my land that I inherited, generations, you have stories backing all of that up. And then somebody, I give him space, and now he's not harassing me. He's not taking our life. It's only a natural instinct that...
Setting up houses, setting up infants in houses.
yes.
I watched
we're talking about
I
war.
watched a particular video over the weekend about it was a gory a woman with her baby strapped on her back
Was
was
set
killed.
alive, yeah.
No, she was killed. She was dead, but the baby
On the back.
was awake, was alive, and still clung to the mother,
Yes.
thinking the mother was still alive, but the mother was
yeah.
dead.
Yeah, natural instinct too.
And a group of human beings did that. Value on human
We're talking
lives.
about war here. War.
Are we fighting war?
What is it? Games? Are they playing games? They are not shooting rubber bullets. They are shooting live
No,
bullets and
so
killing
if
people.
it is war, are the military forces or the security forces approaching it with the tactics of war?
Of course, they have operational plans, and the operational plans is to overrun, drive them back, take them out. Yeah, just take them out.
Which
Yes.
has been effective or not?
Well, the effectiveness of it is dependent on what the objective of the military is. When you are going out to war, you have objectives and you have instructions and orders and battle plans. So it's just, but war is business too. Don't forget that.
Okay, war is business. Still from the Dailies on Solutions and 93.9 FM. Let's go on this short commercial break. We'll be right back.
I am Malario, the king of malaria parasites. My mission is simple: to take over your body, to cause fever, chills, headache. But one thing stands in my way. Come on, come on, come on.
Effective relief from malaria. Comal on. Malaria gone. If symptoms persist after 3 days, consult doctor.
PMTC, TMTC is the option for the option for pregnant woman with HIV. No go lose God, your baby can be HIV. This opportunity, PMTC, oh, is the option for the only option. Pregnant woman with HIV. Baby can be HIV.
Oh yes, a woman living with HIV can give birth to a HIV-free baby. With the right care, treatment, and supports, all you need to do is go to the nearest health center and start your PMTCT services today. Our trained health workers are ready to care for you and your baby with love, respect, and confidentiality. So, what are you waiting for? Take the bold step now. PMTCT is free, it is safe, and could save a life. Early detection saves lives. For more information and support, call us now on 6222. It is free. This message is brought to you by the National Agency for the Control of AIDS, NACA, with partnership from the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
right, you're welcome back. This is the last lap of from the dailies on this Monday edition. Okay, comrade, before we go to the last story, just to wrap up the insecurity issue now. Obi Atiku declared as an insecurity, and Atiku went further to say that we've never had the spate of insecurity this high ever before.
I think, well, I don't want to agree with that.
Don't you feel they could use this as a campaign tool against this administration?
Going back to the days of, what you call him, President Jonathan, insecurity was concentrated to the northeast. And you know how much of it we had. Bomb blasts in Abuja. You know, even in the stadium, I think one particular inauguration day, you know, all of that. And it was concentrated in northeastern Abuja. I mean, but now we have it everywhere, northeast, northwest. North central, Benue, Plateau, Niger is there simmering, southeast, you know, south, southwest, everywhere. No, I don't think it is that bad as it was even in the days of Jonathan. It was scary in Abuja in the days of Jonathan. We cannot say that now. But of course, it is becoming intense too.
It's spread into other parts of the country.
Yeah, the killing is not one bomb blast kills 2-3 people, but this is murder.
Like it's hydra-hided now. Like I said some weeks ago, that
yes,
we're talking about kidnapping, we're talking banditry, we're talking about ritual killings, and you can name them.
Yeah,
on and on. The list is endless.
Our security agents are, the way we are configured, they are looking overwhelmed.
Looking overwhelmed. Okay, as we wrap up, the Israel-Iran war. There are fears that it will have a ripple effect on the price of crude oil.
It is already
globally.
doing that.
Okay, so any fear for Nigerians now buying, I mean, affecting the pump price of petrol?
It is a double-edged sword. I mean, revenue certainly looking like it's going to go over. You know, the bench,
more robust revenue
yeah,
coming,
yeah.
because I can see from the front page of the Guardian
$78 now.
saying it's $80.
No, it's
now.
not. It
It is heading towards 80 now. It's about 78 now. But according to this, Israel-Iran war hope for Nigeria's troubled fiscal outlook as oil prices head to $80.
Because if you look at the Persian Gulf and the Middle East, you will see the Straits of Hormuz. There is Iran, there is Iraq, there is Saudi Arabia, and there is UAE. That is where it is the Straits of Hormuz, where they exit all power energy stuff in the Middle East. That is where it passes through. And Iran has a commanding position over it. So if it is shut down, China gets 80% of its crude oil from Iran alone. And if others are unable to export their crude, you understand? The ones that are taken by, vessels, if Iran shuts the Strait of Hormuz down, that's going to be a very serious one. Of course, it's going to cause higher prices of pump price, and it's going to create an inflationary trend for those economies that will be affected. China.
But some Nigerians are saying, are we still importing petrol? Why should this affect the pump price
Crude.
of petrol?
Crude oil is the most critical. Is the most critical input. If you don't have crude, what are you going to produce in? So, and it is, of course, and if the price goes up, you can imagine the ripple effect here, because every dollar will be an additional 1,500 or thereabouts on every dollar. So, and you break that down into naira effects. But that's a double-edged sword. The government gets more money, more revenue for the federal government, more revenue for the states, more revenue for the local government.
But
we pay more for PMS.
We will likely pay more for PMS.
Yes.
As a
but
result.
I think Dangote is still trying to absorb the shocks. You understand?
Okay, trying to cushion the effects
Oh
of
yeah,
that.
because the stock they are, the stock. You sit down and project. The stock they are using currently, of course, is an old stock, not this price.
Okay.
So let's see for how long if this continues. If we have to buy new stock at that moment, we have to
Okay.
adjust our pricing. Not that they will just adjust it immediately.
Immediately
It moves,
like that.
That's
Okay.
been.
Okay, so no cause for alarm as regards
If
hiking
it does
price
not
of petrol.
drag.
If it doesn't drag beyond the
If
limit.
it does not drag beyond 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 weeks, max 4 weeks. If it drags on for another 4 weeks, we'll have to see adjustments.
Okay, Comrade Adeja Shokpe, thank you very much for being a part of the program today.
My pleasure riding with you, brother.
All
and
right.
of course, thank you to the platform and to our listeners and viewers.
Okay, wishing you a very fruitful week ahead, Comrade.
And you too. God bless you.
That's where we'll be drawing the curtains on today's edition from the Dailies on Solutions at 93 the Dawn Affair. We'll be back again tomorrow morning for a fresh edition from the Dailies on Yosipuda Solutions at 93 the Dawn Affair. My name is Adidamala Lafenwa. Good morning once again and have a very fruitful week.
The views and opinions expressed in this live broadcast are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the editorial policy of Solutions 93.9 FM.
Caution, J. Smith Production.
Free man in the midst, stop the violence, allow peace to reign. Nigerians arise up, let's build a new nation. Let's turn violence and live in peace. Stop the violence, allow peace to reign. Nigerians arise up.